Home prices in our area haven't fallen, but a surprising number of homeowners who bought just a few years ago would still lose money if they sold today. That sounds contradictory, but when you look at the data, it actually makes perfect sense. Over the past couple of years, I've sat down with a number of homeowners who were thinking about selling. And in several of those conversations, I had to share something that wasn't easy to hear. Based on what they paid for the home and the cost of selling it, they simply wouldn't have broken even if they sold at that moment. After seeing that happen more than once, I started wondering, is this just a few isolated situations, or is this actually a broader trend in the market? So I went back and analyzed homes that sold recently that had previously been purchased between 22 and 2024. In other words, homes that have already gone through one full ownership cycle since the pandemic market. And what the numbers showed was pretty eye-opening. In some price ranges, more than half of those sellers did not gain enough value to cover the cost of selling their home. Not profit, not appreciation, just breaking even. In fact, in one segment of the market, nearly 60% of those resales would have resulted in a net loss once selling costs were factored in. Now, that doesn't mean prices have collapsed. In fact, prices across much of the market have actually held fairly steady. And that's exactly why this is happening. During the pandemic years, home prices were rising extremely fast. 10 to 20% appreciation in a year wasn't unusual. But over the last couple of years, the market has shifted into something very different. Prices have stabilized. And this is what a stabilizing market actually looks like. Prices move sideways. Inventory gradually increases. Homes take longer to sell, and buyers become much more selective. Markets can stay in this kind of stabilization phase for a while. As long as mortgage rates remain relatively high and inventory continues to build gradually, it's common to see prices move sideways and homes take longer to sell. Eventually, something changes, usually interest rates, demand, or supply. But until that happens, markets often move through this type of slow adjustment phase. And historically, this is how housing markets reset after a period of rapid appreciation. That's the part many people are just beginning to realize. During the pandemic years, homeowners were gaining equity very quickly. But in stabilizing markets, equity doesn't build fast anymore. It builds slowly. And that's why we're seeing something that seems contradictory. Home prices haven't fallen, but a surprising number of recent buyers still can't sell without losing money. The market hasn't crashed. It's simply returned to something much more normal. And in a normal housing market, equity takes time.